Hey, hey, it's Sanford here, and this is video number 7 of Intrepid 21st Century Circus Life and Mental Wealth Gym. Thank you guys for joining me. And today's word is defensiveness. Now, how many of you guys out there think that you get offended, defensive out there? Well, being defended is a very common thing, but more than anything, being defensive keeps us from having strong collaborations in our life. And I'm a huge believer in collaboration. So I'm going to stick close to my notes as I'm doing this video because I know time is of the essence. I know you guys want to get back to your Netflix and your TikToks and all those wonderful board games. So I'm going to really stick close to the notes here. So I want to start with a few collaborations to begin with. So first we got Apple, okay? So Apple was started with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne, but not many people know who he is because he dropped out early on in the game. Okay, Nike, Phil Knight and Bill Bauman. Okay, Bill Bauman was Phil Knight's first athletics coach. Okay, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and forgive me for some of these names, I'm not super familiar with them. Okay, but we all know Mark Zuckerberg as the face of Facebook. Dustin Mazaskovit. Okay, excuse me, Dustin, forgive me, and Edmondo Severin. Okay, these were the three people who started Facebook. And then to the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, we all know, Scottie Pippen, we all know, Horatio Grant, not many people may have heard of him, but he was with the winning Chicago Bulls basketball team, as well as B.J. Armstrong and Bill Cartwright. Okay, these were some of the great collaborations. Okay, then we have people, amazing people like Oprah Winfrey. She had a team. Ellen DeGeneres, she had a team, okay? And then Beyonce, who started with a powerful group that some of us may know, Destiny's Child, okay, that was managed by her father. And all of these people were on each of these people's teams, and they all knew one thing, that if those people succeeded, we all succeed in the long run. Most people think, okay, the reason that they don't collaborate or they get defensive is they think that they have to lead, okay? They think that they have to do it on their own. They think that they have to come up with a great idea, all right? Michael Jordan didn't come up with the Bulls, okay? He was a part of the team. He was a part of the team. Oprah didn't come up with television. She found her niche and she brought her team along to make sure that she was strong and that she had control of the whole brand process. Okay, Facebook, the same thing. Phil Knight, the same thing. Steve Jobs, the same thing. Okay, most of us we aren't moving towards success because we are too busy being defensive. It's not that we don't want to collaborate. We're just lacking the skills. And so that's what today's video is all about, helping you develop some of those skills around our personal defensiveness. Okay, so here's the premise. Defensiveness does not protect us from other people. It defends us from fears we have that we don't want to feel. Okay, so this is always one of the premises that I start from when I work with my students, when I work with my clients, when I work with my families. I always ask what their biggest fears are because most people don't know and they will deny it. Okay, we think that fear has to be afraid of the dark or afraid of snakes. It actually goes deeper than that. It's, as Socrates says, know thyself. We must know ourselves in order to keep from being defensive, in order to build strong collaborations. Okay, the three main things that come up as far as fears are concerned is our own significance, okay, our own significance, our competence, okay, we're concerned about our competence, and of course our likability. We all want to be liked in one way or another, okay, even though we may pretend we don't want to, but we all need and want that, okay. So a personal example, okay, say for example, I'm doing this video. I know I have a short amount of time and I say, oh, I can't teach you guys all this information in one little video. You're not the smartest group on the planet, you know. Now I'm blaming you as if it's your fault that this is not working. I'm being very defensive, okay? And it's not your fault. And what I'm trying to get at here is you must be aware of when you're becoming defensive. Our defensiveness helps us hide from our own selves, okay? It's very important to recognize that, okay? So part of the key to being effectively working with people, okay, effectively working in school projects, effectively working with your family, effectively going on family vacations when those come back into fashion, even working in the office and working in business, is to know when you're getting defensive and what the early warning signs are. For example, when I get defensive, my heart rate goes up, I get really quiet, and I feel very misunderstood. Okay, so knowing the warning signs. Okay, ways that we demonstrate defensiveness. Okay, so I want to go to my trusty board here. You guys again may not be able to see that, but I'll read them out to you. Okay, so ways that you may become defensive: withdrawing into deadly silence, playing the poor me, the all or nothing thinking, waiting to be right, blaming or shaming others, a drop in IQ. Okay, a high chance of your body temperature going up. Catastrophizing everything, wanting the last word, obsessive thinking, and flooding with information to prove your point. Sharon Ellison, she's a communicator, a communications expert and speaker, says that there are three main categories of defensiveness, like war. Okay, we may surrender, withdraw, or counterattack. Okay, she says that surrender also has an aggressive way of surrendering and a passive way. When we surrender passively, it's like we're a codependent person. We always are justifying everybody else's behavior toward us. Okay? They're doing that because they're hungry. They're doing that because they're tired. They're doing that because, I upset them. We're justifying the other person's behavior. Okay? That's passive surrender. And then there's surrender sabotage. Basically agreeing and being really nice with the person who's come up with the ideas or doing things, and then you go behind their back and you talk about them. You really want the idea to fail because it wasn't your idea, or you don't like them very much for whatever the reason may be. Withdrawal, okay? Withdrawal, okay? These are the people these people are, they can be very dynamic, okay? They can be great speakers and they're really out there and they really want to help, but they hate confrontation. All right, and they'll do anything to avoid it. They'll leave the room, or they'll never bring up the topic again. Okay, and then there's the withdrawal trap. Okay, we've seen people do this. They sit there in their chair like this, and they have a little scowl on their face, and they're just sending out negative energy to everybody. And this just drains everything out of the room. And then that's the withdrawal there. And then you say, "What's going on with you?" And they'll go, "Nothing." And you go, "Are you sure?" And then here's the trap. Well, nothing was going on with me until you started bothering me and you brought it up. There's the trap right there, okay? And then the counterattack is they justify their own position, and then the other one is they blame you for everything, okay? I was driving down the road, you told me to turn right down the street, I got a ticket, and it's all your fault, all right? There's another gentleman named Jim Tam. He's a former law professor and a judge. He did a great TED Talk on collaborations. You can look him up. But he says that creating an early warning system helps us to get over this defensiveness that everyone has. And by the way, if you're one of those people that think I don't get defensive and you're wondering how it could possibly be a life skill, let me tell you, we all get defensive. And if you're out there thinking that you don't, you're either in great denial or you're doing some fantastic drugs that you need to be giving everybody. Okay? So he says that we need to create an early warning system. And so here's the formula for creating that. Okay? First of all, know that you're getting defensive. Okay? Sit down and ask your family members or people that want to see you succeed. Ask them to help you out in ways that they see you getting defensive. Figure out ways you demonstrate defensiveness. Okay? Also figure out your pattern. Is it surrender? Is it withdrawal? Or is it counterattack? Okay? And lastly, here's the practice. Okay? We're almost getting 10 minutes in, but I'm going to zip through this. Okay? So the practice, here's the practice. Acknowledge you get defensive. We all get defensive, and also acknowledge when it happens. Okay? Slow down your physical reaction. Take a deep breath. Go to the bathroom. Splash some water in your face. Pay attention to your self-talk, particularly if it's negative, putting yourself down. You have to lift yourself up. We don't really want to be offended, and we don't really want to offend people. Okay? There's usually a miscommunication or something that we need to talk out. Okay? Create action steps to break the old behavior. Okay, juggling is one of those things you can do to break that behavior, or deep breathing, or meditation. Okay, and then lastly, start over. Again, we don't really want to be offended, and we don't really want to offend people, but you have to let go. You have to learn to forgive. Okay, so keeping that in mind, we all get offended. We all get defensive. So practice those steps. Okay, so again, just to recap. Create a personalized early warning system and create action steps and practice that. Hey, this is your boy Sanford. Remember, get your juggling balls and get to juggling. And as always, love your mission. Peace.